Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the US stands ready to reimpose an ironclad blockade if Iran doesn't comply with a deal signed by both sides.
This was not easy.
Donald Trump and Iran's Masoud Pezeshkian signed an initial agreement to end the war at the Palace of Versailles last night. As part of the 14-point document, further talks to reach a final agreement will take place over the next 60 days, during which the Strait of Hormuz will reopen. Oil prices fell after the signing, with a barrel of Brent crude now costing $78, down around 1.5% on the day. Also included in the deal is a $300 billion plan for Iran's reconstruction, but key questions around its nuclear program remain.
The details that I've seen so far look awful. This will go down as a tremendous foreign policy blunder. Iran ends up stronger. Our allies in the region are weaker. And Iran has learned that if they're willing to grab that Strait of Hormuz and choke it off, they can get the Western world to dance to their tune. I think it's a deep mistake.
Moscow has come under the largest Ukrainian attack since the start of the full-scale war, with close to 200 drones hitting targets around the Russian capital and setting columns of thick smoke billowing high into the sky. 17 people were wounded in the Moscow region, according to the local governor. Almost 1,000 drones and 4 Ukrainian cruise missiles were intercepted and destroyed across the country in 24 hours, according to Russia's defense ministry. An oil depot was struck in the southern Rostov region, where one person was killed. Volodymyr Zelensky said Kyiv had once again hit the Moscow region with long-range sanctions, a euphemism for Ukrainian long-distance strikes on Russia. He said the massive drone strike was in response to last week's Russian attack on Kyiv, which set a major religious landmark ablaze. Carlos Alberto Saustagué, the alleged leader of Los Aguilas, who police accuse of leading a faction of one of the country's most feared criminal gangs, has been shot dead as he was leaving the airport in Ecuador's largest city, Guayaquil. Security footage shows 2 young men waiting outside the arrivals terminal holding stuffed toys and flowers before one of them approaches the victim, pulls his gun from behind a teddy and shoots him point blank. Police have detained 2 teenagers in connection with the crime, the latest in a widespread wave of gang violence. The latest deadly shooting came just a day after Ecuador's president declared a fresh state of emergency in 10 provinces, including where the attack unfolded. A former Ugandan mayor and lawyer representing detained opposition figure Kizza Besigye, who is on trial for treason, has himself been charged with a treason-related offence. Arias Lukwago appeared before a magistrate's court in the capital Kampala looking visibly weak, local media reported, days after he was arrested at his home. He denied the charges of failure to report treason and was remanded in prison until next week, when his case will be heard. His arrest sparked condemnation of General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the country's military chief and son of the president, who boasted about it on social media. Hundreds of eyewitnesses have seen a bright fireball streaking across the night sky in over a dozen states. A fireball flew through the sky at 10:26 in the evening, captured by 3 NASA Meteor cameras. According to NASA, the first image of the space rock was captured above Tupelo in Mississippi as it moved northwest at a speed of 56,000 miles per hour. The meteor traveled 300 miles across the country before it disintegrated 34 miles above the Mark Twain National Forest in Missouri. And the world's oldest living land animal, a tortoise named Jonathan, has extended his record to 194 years, as he was officially named a Guinness World Records icon. The record-keeping organisation said Jonathan, a Seychelles giant tortoise living on the island of St Helena, was a full-grown adult of at least 50 years when he arrived at St Helena from the Seychelles in 1882. His birth year is estimated to be 1832 at the latest, but researchers believe he might be even older.
As charming as he is, and he is a charming character, he does know who's who, he does know who his feeders are, he does respond to their voices, but he is an animal with his own character, and that needs to be respected.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.